Praise God. I believe you're okay today, and God has enabled us to meet in this place. I've come today so that we may speak about vision. For they that are meeting for the first time, Brother Wilfred is my name. And I believe by the end of this message, you shall be imparted by divine impartation of vision. Brethren, if you read the book of Proverbs 29, verses 18, it just states that where there's no vision, people will perish. Where there's no vision, people perish. It means vision is one thing that connects between your present and your future. It is the bridge between your present life today and the future. Because you remember, even the time Abraham was told, in as far as you can see, in as far you can visualize, I shall give unto you. So it means where there's no vision, automatically you will not see the end. So you need to enhance your vision to the farthest end. You need to see your future today. You need to walk clear. When you're visually impaired, the physical realm, you find yourself going to have difficulties even in moving around. Anyone that is vision impaired, they'll need an extra mechanism of enhancing their modes. And anytime you are walking with a person, that's why the Bible will tell us that two cannot walk not unless they agree. When you meet a person and you want to go to the same direction, you have to first of all configure, are you having the same ideology? Where do you differ? So that when you walk already when you have decided and have known that this is the way we are going, and we have decided this is how we're going to walk. We cannot walk when we have different ideologies with someone. Anytime you have your own ideology of doing things, I have my own ideology of doing things, there has to be a place whereby we'll have to begin. And you'll be, first of all, let us agree on one thing. This is what you know, this is what I know. What can we combine and put under one concoction so that we can move together in one direction? Your vision has to be clear. So, child of God, your vision determines how God will bless you. If your vision is not clear, it means you will be walking blindly. You won't be having a specific direction that you are heading. You will be looking for anything that will come around. Many of the people today, many of us today, we have come to a place whereby we start well, especially at the beginning of the year. And as we proceed and progress along the year, things become so loud in our path of walk until we lose the vision that we have already set for this year. And that's where we find that many people have wasted a lot of time in their path of life because they did not draw their visions clearly on paper. So they waste a lot of things on other things that are not relevant in their life. There are some things in your life that you carry, that you realize when you have already wasted 10 years of your life, they no longer count on your life. You find you begin on a fresh note. They have not given you an experience, but you realize that they have already diverted you on a different path altogether. So, today I've come to tell someone that when your vision is not clear, then the probability of you missing that which that God had designed for your life and lose it is very high. You need to draw your visions clear. Because if Abraham wanted to know, when God was reassuring Abraham, and he told him, in as much as you can visualize, as much as you can see, that is the same as much I'll give unto you. So it means Abraham had to look deeper. Abraham had to define deeper in as much as the world could limit him. He had to visualize and look farthest to the farthest city. Anytime you think this is the cloud that you see from your eyes, when you go up, you realize that there's another distance, there are some miles away. So if your vision will just be limited to what you see right here, apparently you realize that when you go to that place, there's more. So when you had a plan, when you had a structure, and you already reached on your structure, what next? That's a question that we don't ask ourselves. When you are looking for something to do, after doing it, what next? When your dream was to have your dream house, when your dream was to achieve a certain achievement in your life, after achieving it, what next? It is not the end of it. It means there's something much higher than what you can plan today. And that's why you need to look deeper. You need to open your eyes and look beyond that which that your mind can comprehend. And realize that until then, you won't get a revelation behind the scene. What we see with our own eyes now, right away, there's more behind it. Not unless you open your mind, you come outside the shell, you break the shell and come out, you realize that you need more than the physical, you need the spiritual. In as much as you can see the spiritual life with your spiritual eyes, the manifestation will be physical. So if you're limited to the physical, you realize that life is spirit. And you cannot live in spirit when you're in physical. You need to be elevated to the spiritual realm, so that any moment before something happens, before planning it, before coming onto the judgmental part of it, already spiritually you have already catapulted with an understanding that whatever that you see today has already been in the spiritual realm. So some of us, our vision has been limited by our circumference or our radius of life today. Some of us, we cannot visualize beyond the physical because our spiritual life has been drained by whatever that we are doing in our life. Our undertakings of life, our endeavors can limit someone to see beyond the physical. Whenever you find yourself operating in the physical and your spiritual life is dead, the first step, check your spiritual life. When your spiritual life is deep, when your spiritual life is alive, then the physical life will be easy. Because if you don't have that understanding, you will realize that it is a matter of time. And the things that you think physically they are manifesting and they are not in the spiritual, they shall fade away. Another thing that I want to share pertaining to that is, in as much you want to open your vision, have you checked your understanding with God? Are you in the right understanding with God? The Bible tells us that how can you love your neighbor? How can you love God, yet your neighbor, you hate them today? Many of us, we have interchanged the concepts by creating what we want to hear, what we want to have. Our own interests have surpassed that which that was originally planned for our life. So, a child of God, you need to check your relationship with God. And the only way that you will manifest that is through the physical. How do you treat that neighbor that you have today? Because there's someone that sees you today and they can guess how your future will be. They can visualize you from a distinct part and see your future. They can visualize by how you live today. And for God to bless you, He'll bless you to that way that you are capable of holding. He cannot bring to you that way that you cannot handle today, because it will derive your way from Him. The cares of this world, the things that we do, the things that we undertake, you understand, and you will realize that many of them divert us from our attention from God. And the enemy has convicted our mind to think that the good things belongs to them, which is not true. Our God is not poor. But God has given us the mandate to use our vision clearly. And the Bible tells us that you put your visions clearly, draw your visions clearly, put them plainly in writing. So it means it needs to be defined. If your vision is not defined, then you are limited. You will be very limited in whatever that you expect. Let us continue in our next topic. As we continue in the same topic, stay tuned and be blessed.